Hey folks, MasakoX here. This is one of the OG stories of the channel. Saiyan turning good and quite possibly be one of the first stories to maybe get close to part 30. We haven't fully decided yet. The full story iteration of this tale is probably going to be the longest yet, and I thought Raditz's one was long. But what is this story? Well, it's all to do with Nappa, the second of Vegeta, who realised that maybe following the prince wasn't such a smart career choice after all, having been cast aside. He then went with Goku and pals instead, this proving to be a very smart idea, and something that would see him thrive in the progression of said team, as well as being able to fully embrace his passion for gardening and horticulture. In any case, in the last part, we saw the Serenity post-tournament of power being disrupted by the antics of Frieza, Kel Surprise, who sought to show off his latest Saiyan toy to all concerned on Earth. Broly was sent out into the tundra to stomp his authority and power for the sake of Frieza and Paragus, and Nappa was one of the first ones to respond to this particular call. Why isn't Vegeta here, Masako? Well, you see, a couple of parts ago, he had gone off to help his brother Tarbell out with a Saiyan colony in deep space, and thusly, he was no longer a viable option for the Dragon team to call upon. He had pretty much found his calling and he had his hands full. Besides, Nappa was just as good in this timeline as he were in the original Vegeta, and he was able to control Broly's temper, so that wasn't all bad. He was able to relate to him in a way more than Goku could, thanks to his own berserker powers. Despite this though, Paragus' son was still a mighty force to be reckoned with, and it was becoming clearer and clearer by the second that the aging Nappa was starting to struggle as he witnessed the inner wrathful form of the Saiyan take hold, bursting forth with a green legendary aura, being frustrated with Nappa's constant resistance to his might. What are we gonna do now? Well, I'll tell you. We're gonna resume. As Broly radiated with the green light of his latent energy, Nappa prepared himself for a very hard day at the office and proceeded to block the attack. However, he wasn't expecting such a sudden increase in strength. In one short screaming session, the old man was surprised and overwhelmed by the sheer power of Broly's charge, as he left some massive ruts not just in the snow, but the eons-old glaciers that lined the battlefield. They were effectively vaporized. This wasn't just a scare tactic in order to intimidate the enemy, no. This was a show of skill and a turning of the tide. This was becoming less of a fight, but more of a shoving match. The younger Saiyan was simply pushing Nappa around at this point, despite his beginner berserker power. Nappa turned to the speck that was Bulma's ship and spoke to her by his communicator. "Bulma, he's getting angrier! I kinda need some help here!" Nappa said through the comms, trying to remain calm, but the tension in his voice still permeated through Bulma's speakers. "Hang in there a little longer, will you? I'm trying to get Whis to respond, but he's taking his sweet time. This may take a while." Nappa sighed and had to resort to the next stage of his berserker power. He'd have less control, but that might just be enough to quell the beast. Not the beast! "Well, you did it, punk. I was trying to go easy on you, Broly, but you left me no choice." As Nappa then transformed into a more rabid version of his berserker state, whereupon he started to reclaim the upper hand. Broly was having to deal with the roles being reversed again, and he wasn't finding this at all a pleasurable experience. Nappa, despite his more dogged determination in this form, just about clung on to his faculties. He kinda surprised himself, but it was still a struggle. Even in this frame of mind, he still didn't want to beat the younger man into a pulp too much. All that he was striving to do in this confrontation was simply just to beat some sense into him, make Broly understand that this was not a battle worth fighting. And yet, the pet Saiyan plowed on. Broly was adapting quicker than ever. Bulma could see that Nappa was slowly losing his advantage again. He was running out of ideas. He was actually, the Saiyan, starting to get a little bit frightened now. He had nothing left in the tank. This kid was either going to beat him into a pulp or worse. When Nappa felt like the end was soon approaching, thankfully, someone came to his aid. took him long enough. Tag in! You need some rest, old pal. It was Goku, who teleported there with Gohan and Whis.
Yeah, about time you showed up, Kakarot!
Goku laughed this off and proceeded to assess the situation that befell the group. After Goku began his battle with Broly, it became very clear to all present who was the stronger of the two, and I'm not talking about Broly. Gohan then checked to see if his surrogate uncle was okay, something that Goten and Bulla did too, leaving the safety of the captured core plane to check on Nappa. He got up, having powered down, and was breathing heavily, but he was still vertical and conscious.
Hey now, I'm fine, I'm not that old.
He looked at Cold and Frieza, over by their ship, who were very much enjoying the show. Paragus, though, was aghast at Kakarot's power, deeming that their cause was lost, as he did in the movie.
Oh, pipe down, you feeble monkey,
snarled Frieza.
You have no idea how these exchanges work. Just because a new challenger comes in and asserts themselves doesn't mean the cause is lost. It just makes it a little more interesting.
He turned back to the fight and ignored Paragus's continued mumblings. Paragus caught the terrified looks on Chilai and Lemo's faces. They were peering from outside the ship. He knew that look. Not some random mooks, no. These people cared about Broly. Ooh, maybe they could be leverage, Paragus thought. Nappa was being given a pep talk by his nephew, though. Don't overwork yourself too much, old-timer.
I don't plan to. That's all I got. Unless you got some sense on ya. In any case, once I catch my breath, I'm gonna have some real stern words with Paragus over there.
Frieza and Cold saw the old man coming toward them subsequently, but they chose not to order the royal guard to get in his way. So Nappa was free to approach Paragus and give him an earful.
Have you completely lost your mind? Teaming up with those losers? I mean, we had to ourselves earlier, but the universe was at stake. What's all this for then? Kissing your ego better?
Paragus growled.
I don't have to explain myself to Vegeta's lapdog.
Nappa was giving him an evil look now.
Vegeta has been dead for 20 years, as were those frosty freaks, and he's not even here!
Cold shook his head, him listening in.
Now, that was uncalled for, Nappa.
What do you mean Vegeta isn't here? I mean, he ain't coming to give you what you want, so you can just hightail your butt out of here once you get your brat under control.
Paragus regained his composure.
Well then, as his closest minion, you will have to do.
Then it dawned on Nappa. He recalled the trinket that Paragus's kid was wearing. He then stared Paragus down with the ire of 1,000 demons.
Is that why your own son wears that thing? You treat him like some kind of caged animal? You would not understand the reason behind that! It's for his own good! So I can control his power! Take a good look!
He pointed to Broly.
It's gone! It broke after his last power-up!
That snapped Paragus out of his delirium.
Oh, what? Impossible! Sires, we must retreat! Broly is soon to be out of control!
A death beam pierced Paragus's chest from behind.
Frieza, that was unnecessary.
King Cold wagged his finger as he was jokingly scolding his son. Oh, Papa, I thought I would help move things along. Frieza grinned wickedly and cleared his throat. Nappa was shocked as the dead Paragus collapsed in his arms.
Oh no, Broly, look! The big man argued with your father and shook him a little bit too hard. I'm sure he didn't mean to, though. Have fun, Nappa.
Frieza, you son of a—
The rest of Nappa's sentence was drowned out in an ungodly roar that Broly had let out. As his hair started to glow golden, he pushed Goku away, and even with Gohan going Super Saiyan God, trying to block him, that was not enough. Broly was able to go right through them and start to unload his frustration on Nappa again. This time, the older Saiyan needed to go full power berserker just to hold him off. No advantage here. He was fighting for his life here. Nappa knew that, he could lose this one. So, he decided to turn the tables around again. As Goku and Gohan tried to aid him, he then moved the battle closer to Frieza and basically threw him at Broly.
Tag, you're it!
Wait, what?
Broly was in such a blind rage right now, he didn't care who he was fighting. He started beating Frieza up.
Oh, Daddy! Help me, Daddy!
No, I'm good right here, thank you, son.
Goku flew closer to Nappa.
Regroup on the lookout?
Regroup on the lookout. Whis helped the three get to calmly lickety-split, who was rather surprised to see them. Gentlemen, to what do I owe the pleasure? Goku was kind of bemused at this ignorant greeting.
I think you know. Aren't you supposed to be observing Earth all the time?
I was, but... He turned around to point in the direction of Broly's energy.
Oh, he was looking the other way.
Big Saiyan guy. Right. You should probably try to calm him down.
Gohan crossed his arms. You think? He said in a rather unusual expression of sarcasm.
He seems pretty dangerous.
His father and the Colds are just using him, Kakarot. I think he's just misunderstood. But he's got some friends over on Frieza's ship. Maybe they'll be able to help him get to safety.
Kami pondered this for a while. We could also perhaps have someone gather the Dragon Balls and teleport him away. But someone would have to calm him down in the meantime. Otherwise, we're just offloading our problem onto another world. For no reason.
Again, we could fuse with the fusion dance, Dad. But I'm out of practice. If we get it right, though, it should be enough to knock him out.
I don't know how long Frieza can last, and I like this plan. Because they already have the Dragon Balls there. Okay, Whis, take me back there.
Gohan seemed concerned.
Nappa, be careful. He will kill you if he remembers that you killed his father.
Which is exactly why I should be the one getting his attention. Now you two, get to work.
We smirked and teleported Nappa to Broly. Frieza was taking a massive beating when he got back there. Something that Nappa was taking great mirth in witnessing.
Oh, that would never get old.
The angel had to get his attention, Broly's, for a few moments, just to move him toward the older Saiyan. Meanwhile, Nappa contacted Buller and Goten.
You two, special assignment for you. Talk with the green chick and orange guy over there. Tell him that we want to save Broly. Just be sure that Cold doesn't notice, though. Use the Dragon Balls. Just wait for him to be calmed down.
Are you gonna try and tame him yourself, Uncle Nappa?
Oh no, I'm just a decoy.
Nappa then powered up to his full berserker state and went up against Broly. He, however, also started to transform, with his hair turning green and his power becoming unlike anything Nappa had ever seen.
If only we just found you a little sooner, you know. I'd have been able to teach you how to control this. Now it's controlling you. What a waste,
lamented Nappa. As he was taking the resulting beating, Buller and Goten approached Chilai and Lemo and told them about the plan. Sadly though, the Dragon Balls were not by them and instead next to Cold and the Royal Guard. But Goten decided to make an overdramatic dive for them and see what happened. As he did so, Cold spotted him and calmed his guards down with a gesture.
Oh.
Hello, young Goten.
You remembering my name?
The monarch nodded.
So, you know I'm gonna take these, right?
Oh, I know. Go ahead.
What?
Yes, take them. Frieza only wanted them to be taller anyway. That's why I stay in my second form. Inbuilt height adjustment, you see.
But aren't you like crazy tall in your golden form as we...
Shh, don't tell him that.
And you're really cool with me taking the Dragon Balls?
Cold nodded.
Indeed. I've had my fun for today.
He looked back to Frieza, still in awe at Broly's power, being beaten into the ground.
Well, thanks, King. See ya.
Farewell, my boy. Farewell.
They're weird.
And as Goten, Buller, Chilai and Lemo gathered the Dragon Balls, they were waiting for the signal. And the signal came with the appearance of Kuhan, them luring Broly away from Nappa, who then could finally take it easy. Broly had messed him up real good, so Cathay naturally went to check on him. The fight between Kuhan and Broly was spectacular, but Broly had found his limit, finally, as he was returning back to his senses, Chilai then screaming her wish out and Broly vanishing. Meanwhile, King Cold picked up Frieza, put him over his shoulder, and slowly went back to his ship.
Let's go, Frieza. Time to go home.
I need to have power like his.
Yes, son. Yes, in time.
Cathay checked on Nappa with a face full of worry. You should not overwork yourself like this, Nappa. Remember your age.
What can I say? It still makes me feel alive. Yeah. Vacation now. Somewhere warm.
As it turned out, the holiday opportunity came sooner than he thought, as it was quickly apparent that Shenron had sent Broly to Vampa, a place where he had managed to survive beforehand. As Chilai and Lemo approached him, so did Goku, Gohan, Nappa, Cathay, Buller, Goten, Bulma, and Yamcha. And Nappa decided to become a surrogate father figure to the boy. Chilai managed to explain to him that it was Frieza who had killed his father, and that led to Nappa and Broly becoming very close for the subsequent months, though both Gohan and Goku did realise that it might be beneficial in the long run if Broly went to train on Beerus' planet. But then Nappa had one more important task ahead of him. As Pan was growing up, she wanted to train more herself. And who else better than to give her that than good old Uncle Nappa. Nappa and Kappei loved Pan, as she was like their own grandchild, and they spent a lot of time with her. It is where, right after one of their training sessions, that the final adventure of Nappa began. But that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. If you like the story where a Saiyan turned good, spend some time with Broly's, the original 1993 one, and his road to redemption. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!